My name is Sophia Bennett. I'm 25 years old, and when I was 13, my parents drove me to a house I'd never seen before and told me I lived there now. "This is your real home," my mother said, pulling into an unfamiliar driveway. "What are you talking about? We live on Maple Street." "No, sweetheart, this is where you belong." A woman opened the front door. She was crying, smiling and crying at the same time. "Sophia," she whispered, "you're finally home." I'd never seen her before in my life, but she knew my name. She knew my birthday. She knew things about me that strangers shouldn't know. What happened next revealed a secret that had been hidden for 13 years. A secret about who I really was, and who my parents really were. Stay with me, because this story will make you question everything about family and identity. I had a normal childhood. Or so I thought. I grew up in a suburb of Seattle with my parents, Margaret and Robert Bennett. I'm an only child. They called me their miracle baby, said they'd tried for years to have children. We were close. Family game nights, camping trips, Sunday pancakes. Everything seemed perfect, until my 13th birthday. The week before, my parents started acting strange, whispering conversations that stopped when I entered rooms, my mother crying at odd times. "I'm fine," she'd say, "just emotional." Phone calls. My father took in the garage. "It's time," I heard him say once. "We can't put it off any longer." On my actual birthday, we had cake and presents like normal. But that night, my parents sat me down. "Sophia, we need to take a drive tomorrow, somewhere important." "Where?" "You'll see when we get there." "Can I bring a friend?" "No, just family." The next day after school, they picked me up early. "Where are we going?" I asked again. "It's a surprise," my mother said, but she was crying. We drove for about 30 minutes, out of our neighborhood into an area I didn't recognize, nicer houses, bigger yards, completely unfamiliar. My father pulled into a driveway, a beautiful 2-story house with a wraparound porch. "Why are we here?" My parents looked at each other, some silent communication passing between them. "Sophia, we need to tell you something, and it's going to be very difficult to hear." My stomach dropped. "Are you dying?" "No, honey, nothing like that." "Then what?" My father took a deep breath. "This house belongs to your biological parents." "My what?" "Your birth parents, the people who brought you into this world." I laughed, nervous, confused laughter. "What are you talking about? You're my parents. We raised you. We love you. But we're not your biological parents." "You're saying I'm adopted?" "Not exactly." "Then what exactly?" My mother was sobbing now. "We took you when you were a baby. We took you, and we've been hiding ever since." The words didn't make sense. Took me? Hiding? I don't understand. "The people inside this house," my father said, gesturing to the beautiful home, "are your real family, and we're giving you back." Before I could process what they'd said, the front door opened. A woman in her 40s stood there, blonde hair, blue eyes like mine. She started crying the moment she saw me. A man appeared behind her, tall, dark hair, also crying. "Sophia," the woman whispered. She walked toward the car, slowly, like I might disappear. "I'm sorry. Who are you?" I said through the window. "I'm Catherine Reyes, and this is my husband Daniel." "Okay, why am I here?" "Because you're our daughter." "No, I'm not. My parents are right here." "Sophia, honey," my mother, Margaret, said gently. "We need to go inside. Let them explain." "Explain what? I don't know these people." "You will," the woman named Catherine said. "I promise you'll understand. Please, just come inside." Every instinct told me to refuse, to demand my parents drive me home. But the way these strangers were looking at me, with such desperate love, such longing, it made me curious and terrified. We went inside. The house was beautiful, family photos everywhere, and in those photos, I saw something that made my blood run cold. A baby, a little girl who looked exactly like me. In every photo. Throughout the house, baby pictures, toddler pictures, even recent pictures that looked like they'd been aged progressed. "What is this?" I whispered. We sat in the living room, me between my parents, Margaret and Robert, the strangers across from us. 13 years ago, Daniel began, our daughter was taken from a shopping mall. She was 6 months old. We'd only looked away for a second. Someone took her from her stroller, Catherine added. We searched everywhere, called police immediately, but she was gone. "We're so sorry," Margaret said quietly. Catherine looked at her with such pain. You're the ones who took her." I turned to my parents. "What?" My father, Robert, wouldn't meet my eyes. We were going through a difficult time. We'd been trying to have children for 10 years. Multiple miscarriages, failed adoptions. We were desperate. "We saw you," Margaret said to me, "at the mall. You were so beautiful. Your parents were distracted, and we took you." "You kidnapped me?" "We didn't think of it that way. We convinced ourselves we were saving you, that we could give you a better life." I couldn't breathe. "You kidnapped a baby and raised her as your own?" "We changed your name," Robert continued. "Moved to a different state. Started over. We knew it was wrong, but we couldn't give you back. We loved you too much." "You loved me?" I was yelling now. "You stole me!" Catherine leaned forward. "Sophia, we never stopped looking for you. 13 years of searching, private investigators, age progression photos. We never gave up hope." "Then how did you find me?" "Your photo," Daniel said. "Your school posted photos from a field trip online. Someone saw it. Someone who'd been following our case. They recognized you from the age progression images. They contacted us." "We hired investigators," Catherine continued. "They confirmed it. DNA testing from a cup you threw away at a restaurant. You're our daughter. You're really our daughter." "No," I said firmly. "These people raised me. They're my parents." "They're kidnappers," Daniel said, his voice hard. "They stole our child. They committed a federal crime." I looked at Margaret and Robert. They were both crying. "Is this true? All of it?" "Yes," Robert whispered, "and we're so sorry." "We're turning ourselves in," Margaret said. "We contacted Catherine and Daniel a week ago, told them we were ready to bring you home." "This isn't my home. My home is with you." "Sophia, we're going to prison," Robert said gently. "We have to. What we did was unforgivable." "But I don't want to live with strangers." "They're not strangers," Catherine said. "They're your parents, your real parents. I'm your mother." "You're not my mother. You're someone I met 10 minutes ago." "I carried you for 9 months. I gave birth to you. I named you. You were taken from me." "Her name isn't Sophia," Daniel said. "It's Lily. Lily Rose Reyes." "No, I'm Sophia Bennett. That's who I am." "That's who they made you," Catherine said. "But you were Lily first." The room was spinning. Nothing made sense. "Can we please just go home?" I begged Margaret and Robert. "We can't, sweetheart," Margaret said. "The police are coming. We have to answer for what we did." "When?" "Soon. We wanted to bring you here first, to meet Catherine and Daniel so you'd understand." "I don't understand anything." A car pulled up outside. Police car. "They're here," Robert said quietly. 2 officers came to the door. Catherine let them in. "Margaret and Robert Bennett," one officer said. "That's us," Robert replied. "You're under arrest for kidnapping, child abduction, and interfering with custody." They handcuffed my parents right there in front of me. I started screaming. "No, don't take them, please!" "Sophia, it's okay," Margaret said, even as they led her away. "You're going to be okay." "I love you," Robert said. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." They were gone. I stood in a stranger's house with people who claimed to be my parents, and my whole world had shattered. The first few weeks were impossible. I refused to call Catherine and Daniel Mom and Dad. I refused to answer to Lily. I stayed in my room, the room they'd kept ready for me for 13 years. Pink walls, toys I'd never played with, clothes in styles I'd never worn, everything chosen by people who didn't know me. "We just want to get to know you," Catherine would say. I don't want to know you. We're your parents. No, you're not. But legally, they were DNA tests confirmed it. I was Lily Rose Reyes, taken at 6 months old. Margaret and Robert were charged with kidnapping. They pled guilty. At their sentencing, I was allowed to give a victim impact statement. I'm supposed to be the victim, I read from my prepared statement. But I don't feel like a victim. I feel like I've lost the only parents I've ever known. The people who loved me and raised me. Yes, what they did was wrong, legally wrong. But they gave me a good life. They loved me, and now they're being punished for loving me. The judge sentenced them each to 10 years in prison. I sobbed through the entire sentencing. Catherine and Daniel sat behind me. Catherine tried to put her hand on my shoulder. I shrugged it off. We know this is hard, Daniel said later. But in time, you'll adjust. You'll understand this is where you belong. I'll never belong here. But slowly, impossibly, I started to see their perspective. They showed me photo albums, pictures of baby Lily. I saw myself, really myself. Before Margaret and Robert took me. You smiled all the time, Catherine said, pointing to a photo. You were the happiest baby. What happened after I was taken? We fell apart. Our marriage almost didn't survive, but we held on to hope. 13 years of hope. They showed me news clippings. Missing child posters with my baby face showed me the age progression photos they'd had made every year. We celebrated your birthday every year, Daniel said. Even though you weren't here, we'd make a cake, light candles, pray you'd come home. I started to understand their grief, the hole I'd left in their lives, but I still grieved for Margaret and Robert. Can I visit them? I asked. In prison? Yes. Catherine and Daniel looked at each other. That's complicated, Catherine said. Why? Because they kidnapped you. They're not supposed to have contact with you. But I want to see them. Sophia, Lily. If you want me to be Lily, then let Lily decide, and Lily wants to see the people who raised her. After weeks of legal paperwork, I was allowed to visit Margaret and Robert in prison. Catherine and Daniel drove me, waited outside. Margaret looked smaller in prison, older, tired. Hi, sweetheart, she said through the glass partition. Hi, Mom. I couldn't help it. She was still Mom to me. How are you? Confused, angry, sad. That's understandable. Are you okay? She smiled sadly. I miss you, but I'm managing. How are Catherine and Daniel? They're trying. They're nice, but they're not you. Sophia, I know what you did was wrong, but you're still my mom. Tears ran down her face. I love you so much. I always will, but you need to let Catherine be your mother now. I don't know how. Start by trying. They lost you once. Don't make them lose you again by holding on to us. I visited Robert next. Same conversation, same message. We took something precious from them, he said. We owe it to them and to you to let you be their daughter now. Over the next year, I tried. I called Catherine Mom. Tentatively at first, then more naturally. I called Daniel Dad. I answered to Lily, even though it felt strange. I learned about the Reyes family, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, my cousins, people who'd grieved for me, who'd wondered what happened to me. You look just like your grandmother, my Aunt Maria said at a family gathering. I'd never had extended family before. Margaret and Robert were only children. This was new, overwhelming, but also nice. I started to build a life as Lily Reyes, different from Sophia Bennett, but still mine. How are you adjusting? My new therapist asked. It's weird. I'm grieving people who are alive, missing a life that was built on a lie. That's very insightful. But I'm also getting to know my real family, and they're good people. They love me. How does that feel? Confusing. I love two sets of parents, but only one set actually belongs to me. I'm 25 now, 12 years since that day. I go by Lily. Have for years now. Sophia feels like someone I used to be. I finished high school as Lily Reyes, went to college, built a career. I'm close with Catherine and Daniel. I call them Mom and Dad, without hesitation now. But I still visit Margaret and Robert every few months. They've served their time. Got released 2 years ago. They live quietly now. Different state, different names. We'll always love you, Margaret tells me every visit. But we're not your parents anymore. You raised me, that counts for something. It does, but Catherine and Daniel are your parents. We were just borrowing you. That's a sad way to put it. It's an honest way. People ask me sometimes, how do you feel about being kidnapped? The answer is complicated. I was taken from my biological family and given to strangers. That's trauma. That's theft. That's wrong. But those strangers loved me, raised me well, made me who I am. So was I really a victim? Or was I just a child caught between two families who loved her? You can be both, my therapist says. You can acknowledge the wrong while also recognizing the love. I have 2 sets of parents. One set gave me life and lost me. One set stole me and raised me. Both sets love me, and I love them all. Is that wrong? I don't know, but it's my truth. Last week, Catherine found me crying in the kitchen. What's wrong, honey? I was thinking about Margaret. Her birthday is this week. I want to send a card. Then send one. You don't mind? Lily, I minded for years. I was angry, bitter, but I've learned something. What? That you have room in your heart for all of us, and that's okay. Margaret and Robert hurt us terribly, but they also gave you something we couldn't. 13 years of your childhood. We can't get those back, but we can be grateful you were loved. Even by the people who took me? Especially by them, because loving you was the one thing they did right. So here's what I learned from all of this. Identity is complicated. Family is complicated. Love is complicated. I'm Sophia and Lily. I'm Bennett and Reyes. I have 2 mothers who both carried me, one in her body, one in her heart. I have 2 fathers who both raised me, one by biology, one by choice. And somehow, I belong to all of them. Have you ever felt torn between 2 worlds, 2 families, 2 versions of yourself? How did you find your identity when everything you knew turned out to be different than you thought? Share your story in the comments. Because identity struggles are something so many people face. And if this story made you think about family, identity, and where we truly belong, hit that subscribe button. Because every week I share stories about complicated families, difficult truths, and finding yourself when everything changes. My name is Lily Bennett Reyes. Yes, both names now. When I was 13, I learned I'd been kidnapped as a baby. My kidnappers were the parents I loved. My real parents were strangers who'd never stopped looking for me. 12 years later, I've made peace with being both Sophia and Lily, because maybe we're not just one thing. Maybe we're the sum of everyone who's loved us. Thank you for listening. Remember, family isn't just biology, but biology matters too. Identity isn't simple, but it's yours to define. And love, real love, can exist in impossible situations.